AgWeek weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
After last week's devastating storms, can the region expect calmer weather? Here's Lydia with our Agri-weather outlook.
As we wrap up the month of June, I thought we'd look at some of the moisture that we've picked up. We've had some big rounds of rain, including thunderstorms, which means that you can have variations in your rainfall reports from location to location, just depending on where a specific downpour set up. Minneapolis, almost 4 inches of rain this month. Fargo, a little over 3 inches, about 2.5 in Duluth and in Sioux Falls, 1.76 in Bismarck, and about 1 2/3 inches in Grand Forks. And for a lot of us, that is still behind normal. These white numbers here is your departure from normal. Only Minneapolis is now ahead of normal, about 1/4 inch. But a lot of us, especially lower on the list, anywhere from 1 inch to nearly 2 inches still behind normal on our rainfall, on our moisture through the month of June. That is taking us through June 26th, by the way, so we've still got a couple of days to add in some of that moisture as we do have thunderstorm chances. Headed into July then, I see us having a pretty toasty start. Jet stream kind of works its way to our north, which allows a lot of warmer air from the south to end up with us. We're looking at a lot of days in the 80s, if not close to 90 from time to time. Warmer in the south and a little bit cooler in the north, generally speaking. Mostly dry here as we do turn the calendar into July. So that's why I wanted to show you some of those June rainfall totals, because we're likely to back off a little bit for at least the first 2 weeks of July. I actually see a monsoon pattern setting up in the southwest corner of the country, and sometimes that can kind of steal some of our moisture chances away from us. I don't have us going bone dry, but just more days in between some rain chances into the first couple weeks of July. As for your jet stream pattern, your jet stream setup here, the heat dome over on the eastern part of the country this week starts to fade away. Heat, of course, building into the desert southwest. We get a little drop in the jet stream in the days leading up to the 4th of July, and that can send in slightly cooler air. Not cold by any means, but near average or even slightly below for a couple of days before we start building in more of that heat out west, and that works its way up to the north. This now takes us to the weekend after the 4th of July. That is very evident here when we look at your temperature outlook maps for the next couple of weeks. This specifically July 1st through the 5th. We are looking at well above average temperatures far up to the northwest, near average, near normal highs further off to the south and to the southeast. And normal this time of year is anywhere between about 80 to 83. Still plenty warm, still good corn growing temperatures, but not cold and not super toasty either, right close to average. Now, as we go into the following week, this now getting us closer to about the middle of July, the 3rd through the 9th specifically, we back down a little bit, we cool down a little bit, but we're still looking at above average temperatures far to the northwest. Closer to normal where you do notice these grays, and that includes that eastern part of South Dakota all the way over into Minnesota. Rain chances are out there through the country. You do see that darker green to the southwest with that monsoon pattern. We'll back down our rain chances, but keep them around into July.